On a cold weekend in February of 2005, a man with a long criminal record was living in the shadows, a ghost in the system. He abducted a little girl and subjected her to horrors that are truly hard to imagine. His confession would later reveal a detail so heartbreaking it has haunted investigators ever since. She was found buried with her favorite stuffed dolphin still clutched in her hands. How did a man with a known history of violence manage to do something so monstrous? And what cracks in the system allowed him to slip right through? 9-year-old Jessica Lunsford was a happy third grader who loved to sing and play with her stuffed animals. On the morning of February 24th, 2005, her dad, Mark Lunsford, walked into her bedroom to find it empty. The only things missing were the pajamas she'd been wearing and her favorite toy, a purple stuffed dolphin he'd recently won for her at a local fair. An intense search kicked off immediately, but there was no sign of forced entry. Investigators were stumped. As days bled into weeks, the hopes of finding her alive began to feel impossible. The search eventually started to zero in on the dozens of registered sex offenders living in the area. One of those offenders was 46-year-old John Evander Cooey. It turns out he was living unregistered just 150 yards from Jessica's home. Despite an extensive criminal record, a flawed system meant nobody was actively keeping tabs on him. After being named a person of interest, Cooey was arrested in Augusta, Georgia, on an unrelated warrant. On March 18th, he confessed to kidnapping, raping, and murdering Jessica Lunsford. He admitted that he buried her alive, telling her he was taking her home as he convinced her to get inside 2 garbage bags. Her body was found in a shallow grave in his yard, still holding that stuffed dolphin. In a final desperate act, her fingers had managed to poke through the plastic bag before she suffocated. During his trial, it took the jury just 4 hours to convict Cooey on all accounts. He was sentenced to death, but Cooey would never make it to his execution. He died of cancer in prison in 2009. The horrifying nature of the crime and the fact that the system completely failed to track Cooey sparked outrage across the nation. In response, Jessica's father, Mark Lunsford, poured his grief into action. He fought for new legislation, and soon Jessica's law was enacted in Florida. The law, which imposed much stricter sentences and GPS monitoring for many sex offenders, was quickly adopted by dozens of other states. Jessica Lunsford's life was brutally stolen, but her legacy grew into a nationwide movement to better protect children. Which laws were changed? Her story is a chilling reminder of the very real cost of a broken system. The image of a little girl buried with her last source of comfort, that purple dolphin, is something that's impossible to forget. What more do y'all think should be done to prevent tragedies like this? Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that need to be heard.